Again, I am the Awkward Agent, and with me tonight, my most faithful compatriots. With me, the 8-Bit Gamer.
Hey!
Yeah. And Big Sexy himself, Lucid Sheets.
Good afternoon, everybody.
How you guys doing tonight?
Very, very good.
Yeah, I saw you dancing around here in the studio.
Come early at some time and you guys can see me dancing to random music through the window.
Yeah. Been a weird day for me. Like I can handle a lousy day fairly well. I'll be upset, but I can handle it. I cannot handle an inconsistent day, though. Like constant ups and downs all day. Just drains me. But we got a good show set up for you tonight. For those of you tuning in for the first time, what we do is each week we have a brand new nerd topic for us. We pick something out of nerd culture, and we wax philosophical on it for your entertainment. If you have an idea for a topic or you want to join us in our debate, please feel free to go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/nerdherdshow. Also, we've been recording our shows recently, and 8-Bit has been gracious enough to loan his YouTube channel for us. So be sure to check out our show and his stuff over at youtube.com/theendofit. So we got a good topic set up. This was a topic submitted to us by one of the fans, actually. One of the fans actually met up with me in the halls on campus, said, "Hey, I like the show. I have an idea for you. Would you please talk about cosplay?" And I thought that would be a great topic because it's just such a fun geek thing to do, you know. Mm-hmm. And so I think the first question I have to ask is like personal experiences. Like, have you guys ever done cosplay before?
No, I have not. In fact,
really, you honestly seem like the type of person that would be into it.
I would, but I've never had somebody to really go do it with. I don't really feel like doing it by myself as much.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's more fun when it's a social thing.
Yep.
What about you, Lucid? You ever do it?
Oh, yes. I am actually an avid person of doing it. I went to a convention last year, and I'm heading for another one this year as well.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
I've been into it for so long. I'm sort of a professional costume designer / modeler. I get it mostly from my time in a drama club, like a drama club, Halloween parties. That's what I got started on. Mm-hmm. But cosplay is so much more fun because I get into character for it.
Yeah.
So
I've been to a bunch of conventions, so I really enjoy it. You know, still like getting to see those people. Like I've been to Comic-Con and stuff like that. So
yeah. But all right. So let's also talk about experiences, not just ours, but also if you've ever seen anybody in cosplay. Like you said, 8-Bit, that you never actually did cosplay. Have you ever watched someone?
Yes, I've
cosplay?
seen quite a bit. Comic-Con, the San Diego one, it's one of the biggest conventions there is. So, of course, there is a huge amount of cosplayers of all different types. They even have huge cosplay contests that take hours to go through, and they all do different acts. But probably one of the funniest things there was that there was both a really classic Batman that was the whole with a classic Robin together. So they were all like, "Holy smokes!
Holy ravioli! Holy hole in a donut!"
And stuff, like doing the really comical. But there's also a really inappropriate Batman there that was making like all these really inappropriate sexist jokes, you know.
No.
So it was like, oh my god, and he was doing it in the like new Batman Dark Force. So it was like the weirdest like comparison to see both those things happening.
I would have been so uncomfortable around that.
Well, my experiences, my first convention I ever went to was last year during Anime Boston. And, you know, I didn't really see much out of the normal that I would normally see. You know, I see the cosplayers, I see the people. But actually what I thought was really funny was a reaction from my friend who went with me. Because I was going around with a Guy Fawkes mask around. And I was walking around, and she was like, she didn't really strike it to me until afterwards. But she's like, "Josh, take off the mask. I swear, the police are going to come and get you or something. They're just going to come and like, shoot us all up. Well, I'm being a little extravagant, but her worry for it was because she felt like, something bad was going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, there's sort of a stigma with the Guy Fawkes mask now.
Yes.
Which is a shame because historically, Guy Fawkes was a pretty awesome guy.
He was, and, I still say that the mask itself still holds that representation. It's just used in a different era, and it's, past its time, but it's used in the same way. But regardless, the fact that she was freaking out, and I was like, it's fine, don't worry. There's a bunch of other people who are probably freaking out over all these other people dressed up.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a experience, general experience. Let's talk about like the best and the worst for a second. Like, what is the best cosplay that we've ever seen? Like, let's start with you 8-bit. What's like the best cosplay you've ever seen someone pull off?
I don't know. I've seen some pretty amazing ones before, especially like when it's like a really complex costume. Like I've seen a Transformer one that actually could fold up into the car. Like the person would crouch down and roll into himself, and it would actually be the car. And I've seen some pretty cool, like, complex ones. But one of the funnier ones I've seen is that at Comic-Con there was a bunch of girls dressed as Joker dressed like the nurse. So it was a girl dressed as a guy dressed as a girl. As well as there was a few guys dressed as it, too. But
Meta.
Yep.
What about you, Lucid? You ever see some really awesome cosplay that just blew you away?
I have. Let's see here. One of the few that I really liked was somebody had dressed up as Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z, and they were perfect for it. They were like the same kind of height. The hair was done right, the armor was done right, and I looked at them and I'm like, other than the fact that I know the difference between, reality and fiction, this is a very convincing looking Vegeta.
Yeah.
The only downside was, the meme that goes along with it, the over 9,000 part.
Mm-hmm.
I went up to this person. I'm like, Vegeta, what does the scouter say on his power level? And the Vegeta didn't know what to say. The Vegeta just looked at me. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, what does the scouter say on his power level? And it took her a few minutes to like, over 9,000.
I am stunned rigid.
I think I ran into maybe 4 different Vegetas at this one convention, and only one of them did it right, and the rest just didn't understand what the joke was. Like, I was very disappointed.
You've got to research your characters if you're going to do this. Mm-hmm. The best one I've ever seen, I was at Portland, Maine. It was PortCon. And I don't remember the person's name, but I did actually get to talk to him. They went as the Poe collector from Ocarina of Time. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, it was this really elaborate costume. I'm pretty sure the hood was reinforced with wire because if you've seen the Poe collector, huge head. And they also installed, like, this red lamp in the front for the eye, like a red mm-hmm. floodlight. So when I say that it takes artisan craft to make some of these, I'm being dead serious. Not only did this person have to learn how to properly sew, how to reinforce the clothing, they had to take up electrician work as well.
Yeah. I've seen 3 really good Gladyses before. One of them actually even had a little Wheatley like on the side of her head and stuff. And 2 of them actually carried a cake around with them like the entire convention just to like match it. And like the one had a voice box thing that was like in it, so it would read out lines from the game in Gladys's voice, so it wasn't like her just reading them. And other ones would try to mimic Gladys and did a pretty good job still, even without a voice box.
Yeah, I seem to recall recently you were like squeeing because the cafeteria on campus had like the cake from Portal.
Yeah, it looked identical to it. It was just white instead of black, So it was. I just thought it was really funny. So I sent them a text, and like they both come running over, Yeah,
but that's the best. Now, unfortunately, we have to talk about the worst. Like, how do you do a cosplay wrong? Like, what is the worst you have ever seen?
I don't know. It's mainly when you like just don't really care. It's the people that aren't doing it to be fun or to enjoy it or to do something in retrospect in support of a character. They do it to kind of make fun of cosplay more, and that's the only time when I actually have an issue with it. If you're having fun and you like it, I don't care. Like, you can have like a cardboard made costume if you really want to.
As long as you take it appropriately, and like you know that you can not take yourself so seriously, basically. Mm-hmm. What about you?
When it comes to bad cosplays, I kind of separate it into two different categories. One is bad cosplays, as in the character themselves, the person playing as them, and not representing it well, and then there's bad in general. For people who are bad at the cosplay, I ran into a Naruto.
Oh no!
At the convention, and first thing I'm like, okay, kid kind of looks like he's doing what he's doing, except he wasn't playing into the character. He wasn't like, that was the one thing I don't like, is when I see a character, I expect them to
get into the character.
Get into character, but they just really didn't. They just acted like nothing was really going on. Like, they was like, oh hey, blah blah blah. Didn't even really care about it.
Yeah. It's unfortunate when people are just like going through the motions, you know. And again, going back to my drama club roots, that's one of the first things I picked up is, like, if you're going to be in full costume, you had best be in character, and you best be getting like really into doing it, Mm-hmm. A few of the ones I've done where I've actually like been in competitions. Every major competition that I won for like my costumes, mm-hmm. I attribute to being in character. Alucard, I actually ended up winning two awards dressed as Alucard. Mm-hmm. I was at a Halloween party, a big one at Fun Spot in Meredith, New Hampshire. I ended up doing like a humanoid Cheshire cat mm-hmm. for that. Ended up winning a bunch of swag for that. And the key is being in character, because people take notice. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But so we've talked about the best and the worst. What sort of advice can we give people who want to get into cosplay but they're unsure of how to start?
Well, really, you have to either find someone that's good at making stuff, or learn yourself, or get a lot of money, because it's not exactly cheap.
No.
Which is one of the main reasons why I haven't done it myself.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those things where if you don't have the money for it, you're going to have to make it an occasional hobby as opposed to a regular thing. Myself, I've had to cut back on it a lot myself because I don't have a job yet. Mm-hmm. So sad.
For me, I have a few that I actually like. First, as I said before, research your character. If you're going to cosplay as somebody, you better know them inside and out, because there's going to be specific memes to go with your character, specific stories to go with your character, inside jokes. Really research it. And as 8-Bit said, money. If you want to do a really good job, if you want to be like flashy and out there and really show that you're really dedicated to this one particular character, you would have to go all out. It's just impeccable. You don't have to always. If you want to, start and getting into the basics, getting into it, it's simple, basic, nothing big. But those are my two options, I must say.
Yeah. I totally agree with you about learning your character and getting into it. Mm-hmm. Like that's the big thing I'm most adamant about. The other thing I would add to that, though, is make a firm decision right from the beginning. Are you going to play it straight, or are you going to play it for the lols? Mm-hmm. Personally, I like it when people don't take themselves too seriously and they just go nuts and have fun with it. That's to me, that's the best kind of cosplay. But what about you guys? Do you prefer serious or silly?
I like a real mixture of it. They're like the Batman story. I thought that was hilarious, and I enjoyed that because there was one that took their role seriously, even though it was a more silly character than the one that took the serious role and played it silly. But then there's also people that do take every role serious, and I like that. It's just as long as you don't take it to the point that you're so serious you're kind of getting irritating with people because you're not actually making anyone enjoy themselves. That's when it just gets stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Lucid?
I would have to say, it depends on your real reference on it. I mean, there's how much you want to dedicate to the costume itself, and then how you want to present it. And if you want to do it for just joking around, lulzy, and everything else, go for it. It's fine. Everyone likes a little bit of fun. But if you really feel like this is a character I must capture everything about, and I want to portray it and act as this person is, then go as dramatic as you have to be. I mean, go all for it. It won't bother me.
Yeah. Speaking of silly cosplays, I've got to share this one with you. The most hilarious cosplay I've ever seen. It was a group of professional sumo wrestlers dressed as the Sailor Scouts. It was the most hilarious thing I've ever seen, because you've got these big, burly guys, and they're acting so feminine and gentle with everybody. So I thought it was hilarious. So that's about it for our topical debate. We're going to go now to our music break given to us by 8-Bit. 8-Bit, what do you have for us tonight?
For the first song I'm going to be playing in theme of our topic is going to be Cosplay with My Heart, which is a Bruno Mars parody. And, well, don't forget to tune back in at the end of the music break for our continued discussion.
Right. All right. We'll see you right after the break. This is Cosplay with My Heart.
Stars of Fire from Silent Hill, the game. It's a great game. You should try it sometime. It's a horror game, so if you want to be creeped out,
Yeah, in my mind, it's one of the few true horror games, I think most big time video game nerds will agree there aren't really a whole lot of true horror games.
Yeah.
I can name Silent Hill, Amnesia is a fantastic one, and I'm trying to. I always have trouble with the third one. Always escapes me. Eternal Darkness. That was fun because it actively messed with you. I distinctly remember a part in there where it tricked me into thinking that my memory card was corrupt and got completely wiped.
That's what happens.
I love it.
You should try, I think it's called Ghostface. I might be remembering that wrong. It's a PC game that actually messes with your computer and files and stuff in that same way, where it will crash the game on purpose, and then all of a sudden add a Word document to where the startup file is that tells you you shouldn't be playing this game or something like that, and then you start it up and it'll actually completely load almost a different game, you're in a completely new place than last time you started it up and stuff, and it just keeps evolving like that.
I love that. A self-aware game. That is awesome.
Yeah.
All right, well, we have reached the part of our show where I attempt to saw my co-host's brains in half with concentrated WTF. I've spent all day today looking for strange, odd news stories to entertain and to confound. The first story that we're going to talk about comes to us from Denver, Colorado. Now, start with a question. Think for a second. What do you imagine when you think of the most non-threatening animal in the world?
Rabbit?
You have not seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
I have seen Monty Python, but in this reality, a rabbit's going to be one of the least, threatening things I know.
Yeah, everyone loves bunnies. They're cute.
Oh, yeah.
Well, apparently, bunnies have taken exception to that. Rabbits have taken exception to that. And in Denver, Colorado, they're going the full Bugs Bunny on us. Got the news story here. Bunnies taking toll on cars at a Denver airport. The furry creatures are wreaking havoc on cars parked at Denver International Airport by eating spark plug cables and other wiring. To stop the problem, federal wildlife workers are removing at least 100 bunnies a month, while parking companies install better fences and build perches for predator hawks and eagles. Airport spokeswoman Laura Cole says that out of the 4.3 million parking transactions in 2012, 3 claims were submitted for rodent or rabbit damage, and none was submitted with a claim for towing. KCNC-TV reports there's another way to stop the damage that can cost thousands of dollars to repair. Mechanics say coating the wires with fox or coyote urine can rob the rabbits of their appetite. Fox urine can be purchased at many hunting shops.
I always keep a bottle of fox urine in my backpack just in case.
Right. I have 2 comments on this story, actually. One is, speaking as a farm boy growing up in the mountains of Alexandria, New Hampshire, I can attest that, yes, going to hunting shops or your local agway will have it as well. I've gotten fox urine before, fake fox urine, and I've sprayed it around the foundation of the house to keep like mice and rats and moles out. And it works wonders. I don't think it's a good idea to spray liquid onto electronic components, though.
It sounds fun, though.
It just sounds like all sorts.
Well, it should be fine, especially with the way the wires are. It's just like a bird can stand on a power line and not get electrocuted. You know, there's a lot of rules with the way these electric currents travel. You know, so as long as it's not like sitting in a pool on the ground, it should be fine.
Circle of life, bro.
The other thing, the idea of building perches for hawks and eagles. Introducing a natural predator, that sounds like a good idea on paper, but bear in mind, this is an airport. Those birds are going to be flying around. It's only going to be a matter of time before one of those poor birds gets sucked into a jet engine.
The poor bird. You're talking about a job that's of killing rabbits. So, like, I don't think anybody is really that worried about the birds. And there actually is a certain amount of birds that do get sucked into the engines over time.
Yeah, but still.
I'm still surprised that the first guess I made for non-lethal animal happened to be the topic of today. Like, if you guys don't know, I cannot see what Chad has in front of him. I am on the opposite side of the computer screen, so I can't even know, and he doesn't tell me what to show. The fact that I even guessed this correctly is still beyond me.
You're one of those guys that everybody hates during dice games, right?
Yeah, like, I guess the thing that's going to happen. I'm not even trying to. I'm like, oh, it's probably going to be that. And what do you know? It's that. Oh, it's not a dragon. Whoop-de-doo, it's a dragon.
Yeah, I like to surprise the guys on this show. I like to see your genuine reactions. But moving on to our next story, I've always said that if I could live anywhere on Earth, I would probably move to somewhere in Scandinavia, because Sweden has great food. I love the scenery in Norway. I love the mountains, and Denmark has like one of the highest quality of life ratings like in the world. That being said, I think it's safe to assume every country, every culture has that one weird thing about them. I think I found Norway's weird thing. Television. Fireplace in Norway to get primetime coverage. This is from Oslo, Norway. Norwegian public television plans to broadcast a burning fireplace for 12 straight hours from Friday evening, with firewood specialists providing color commentary, expert advice, and a bit of cultural tutoring.
I get that channel on Netflix.
We will talk about the very nerdy subjects like burning, slicing, and stacking the wood, but we'll also have cultural segments with music and poems. Rune Mokelbust, a producer for her state broadcaster NRK, said, "It will be very slow but noble television." Mokelbust got the idea for the show from the wild success of a firewood book by Lars Mitling, Norway's biggest firewood celebrity. His book Helved, which means strong character in English, is a play on words because ved also means firewood. Mittling, a guest on tonight's broadcast, has sold close to 130,000 copies of the book since last year, a huge number in a country of 5 million people, with his publisher claiming that only 50 Shades of Grey sold more copies during the recent holiday season.
Yeah. For years they've been, ever since pretty much the invention of the plasma screens and other flat screen technology, they've been actually selling DVDs of Fires. And in fact, I think even back in the VHS days, like some rich people would buy them. But
yeah.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, the ambient DVDs.
And that actually is on Netflix. That's what I wasn't actually joking on that. Like Netflix has a holiday one too. It's Yule logs.
See, now I got to find that because I'm so addicted to weird crap. I've got to find it.
Just no. no. Just no. Just why? I mean, the money in that. What is the just? I'm trying to really just think about this. People are going to pay money for television. So they can watch anything in the world, anything intelligent, anything that can boggle the mind, and you pay your television to watch fire erupt and crackle on the screen. You can't feel the fire, you can't feel the embracing warmth of the fire, but you're going to pay money to sit in front of your house to watch natural burning wood. That is still...
I have a fire pit around the corner of my house, so I don't need it.
I just don't understand it. Somebody help me. I don't know.
Well, on Hulu, there's a TV show called The Booth at the End, and it's the entire 2 seasons of the show take place in a booth in a diner. And it's actually a really interesting show, though.
But things happen in this booth. I mean, this is a fireplace. This is just a fireplace for 12 hours straight running, and maybe snippets here and there. But there's at least a show going on.
We have C-SPAN. About as much happens there.
It's still the point for me is why? I mean, is there really nothing else going on? Is there no hero in the woods saving little furry creatures? Is there no natural things going on in the town that are like broadcasting this station? Do they really have to only accept nature as its only entertainment?
Considering America has Jersey Shores, I think we have no room to criticize fireplace
we don't have
shows.
We don't have Jersey Shore anymore. We have
about 1 million knockoffs.
We have Buck Wild. I saw that show. I'm sorry. I make fun of it too badly. I really have. It's insane. But still, I'd at least watch that than a roaring fire, because at least I get to laugh at those people in that show rather than staring at something I can make in my backyard and, with a few friends, cook food over it, instead of just watching it for 12 hours straight and just accepting that I'm wasting electricity on this channel.
The first channel for pyromaniacs. That's all I'm thinking.
Maybe they'll stop burning down houses because they get to watch it instead.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Continuing with the theme of international crazy, our next story comes from Tokyo, and speaking between me and Lucid, who we're like huge anime buffs, we can attest that Japan gets a little weird sometimes.
2 words. No, 4. High School of the Dead.
Oh yes,
that covers it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun show, but still,
I loved it. But please go on and tickle my funny bone with what we can pull from Japan today.
Okay. How about this then? Dirt Diner in Tokyo is a delight. French-style seafood has always been the big seller at Toshiro Tanabe's Tokyo restaurant, but the chef for many years had a secret passion: soil. Now his long interest in soil cuisine has finally culminated in a feast he's been offering to customers for the last few weeks, starting with an amuse-bouche of soil soup and ending with a soil sorbet. Man did not create the sea, the air, or the soil. They're simply all part of nature, and in a sense, they are alive in their own right, said Tanabe. What I'm trying to do is reflect that feeling in food. A professional bantamweight boxer in his youth, Tanabe turned his hand to cooking in his 20s and left to train in France. For the last 20 years, he has run a French restaurant in downtown Tokyo, and over the last 8, has been slowly introducing his customers to samples of soil-inspired cuisine. At first, though, the search for a clean and chemical-free main ingredient was tough work. I had to go all over the place to find soil, into the mountains and places like that. Places where there was no farming, he said. Then, of course, I had to dig it up from deep under the ground. Now Tanabe sources his soil through a Tokyo-based supplier, which delivers about a kilo, 2.2 pounds, of dirt a day, pre-checked for harmful substances. Previously, limited supplies had meant he could only serve an occasional soil dish or two. After the dirt arrives, he lightly cooks it to release the flavor, then runs it through a sieve to remove any stray grains of sand. The 6-course soil extravaganza starts with an amuse-bouche of soil soup served with the merest fleck of dirt-ingrained truffle, and then ends with a soil sorbet with a sweet dirt gratin. But Tanabe's pride and joy is the soil surprise, a dirt-covered potato ball with a truffle center. The feast is not especially cheap, running to 10,000 yen a dinner, which amounts to $110 American. $110 to eat dirt.
Well, the thing is, it is filtered. It is checked for chemicals. It's not just normal dirt. Like, you can't go and taste this on your own. You can't go outside and pick it up. You know, it's not going to be at all the same.
Yeah.
So the thing is that at the end of the day, it's just like a lot of other things we find weird that a lot of other cultures eat. It's just something newer, you know, and so it gets extra criticism.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I think it's okay because it is actually healthy when you break it down, and it has actual nutritions in it that are good for people.
I was going to say, because the vegetables we eat draw those nutrients. When the people say vitamins and minerals, they mean this minerals in the same sense as mineral deposits in the ground. And
the best types of minerals would be coming from that. So, like, the thing is that you're getting a purified form of that mineral, so you'd actually have to eat a lot less to actually get it.
We're hurting Lucid's brain right now.
Honestly, at this point, I'd rather take the Norwegian Fire Channel than paying over $100 to eat.
Hey, don't knock it till you try it.
I was a kid. I ate soy once. It wasn't the best.
Doesn't taste the same.
I don't care. Tell me, please, enlighten me. Yes, it's filtered. It's cleaned. It's still dirt. The fact that the paragraph says that he had to go find dirt to get dirt under dirt is the fact. It's just.
Yeah, but you wouldn't eat grass, but you eat many foods that are very similar to grass that are just cooked or handled differently.
I've eaten grass before. Personally, eating bladed grass or something is fine. It's natural, and it's just, I don't know, eating dirt to eating grass, or eating dirt to eating fruit or potatoes or something is just, okay. I'd have not much of a big thing of it if it wasn't for the fact that the cost, you said, was about $100 or something for $110 for a plate of dirt. I could personally...
Well, 6 plates of dirt.
6 plates of dirt. I can go in my backyard where I have my garden, and I could shovel out my own dirt for free. I just... As I said before, give me the Norwegian Fire Channel in return for Japanese dirt eating.
But how do you eat peanut butter?
Yes.
Do you realize how much dirt gets into peanut butter?
I realize how many spiders are in peanut butter.
But there's also a lot of dirt. It's bugs, spiders, and dirt, as well as actually a few rat bodies, but that's besides the point.
But still, at least that's one product. That's all put together to create a single product. Dirt as an individual.
But they don't eat it alone. Didn't you hear they put it on a potato, which also, once again, something you eat that's grown in dirt and usually has some dirt left on it.
But it's... Why'd you do this to me?
Okay, I'll tell you what. I have just enough time for one more story.
Okay.
And and it will make you happy. It will make you happy because it made me happy.
Okay.
I promise.
Okay.
Now, I never mentioned this to either of you, but I am a pit bull advocate. And when I say a pit bull advocate, I don't mean the crappy rap star. I hate him, actually.
I like him.
Really?
Yeah, I like him. But go on.
We recently added a girl to our team.
But anyway, pit bull advocate. Because the breed of dog, they get a bad reputation. They've been put down for years, so I'm sort of an advocate for them. And I fell in love with this story because anyone who thinks that pit bulls are a bad breed, listen to this story and look me into the eye and say that. Pit bull saves family from house fire. Pit bulls get a bad rap, but a 10-year-old pit bull terrier named Baby showed that the controversial breed can be heroes. Coco.com reports that Baby helped to save a family from a burning home in Wellston, Oklahoma. The family was asleep when smoke and flames began to engulf their house. According to Rhonda Westenberger, Baby saved the day by waking Westenberger and her sister, Evelyn. There were flames shooting down the hallway, said Westenberger. If Baby hadn't woken Evelyn up, I don't think either one of us could have come out of it. Once the sisters were safe, the dog wasn't done yet. Realizing there were several other dogs still in the house, Baby went back into the fire. There was one dog hiding underneath the bed, said Charles Land, another family member. Baby actually went in there, grabbed it by the scruff of the neck, and dragged it outside. The house was destroyed in the fire, but the family is grateful they escaped with their lives. Officials believe the fire began when the clothes dryer malfunctioned. That is the coolest dog I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stories about different dogs.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of stories about like military service animals, like dogs that serve in the military. And you look at the photos, you watch them. What they'll do is when they're basically assigned to a soldier, and that soldier cares for them, looks after them. That soldier's essentially their owner. They will go with them everywhere. They've been like parachuted in with the soldiers, like in full harness. And while they're in the trenches, what these dogs will do is they will lie down in the prone position, excuse me, with the soldier, and they'll be facing the other way to watch their back. And if they see anything sneaking up behind them, they'll start barking and yelling to warn them. And but yeah, they watch their backs, they parachute drop them in with the soldiers, they carry ammunition. These dogs are heroes.
Yeah.
You know? And there's a reason why, and I know I'm getting like evangelical about this, I apologize for that, but there's a reason why pit bulls are referred to as the nanny dog, because they are so dedicated to their families that they would probably take a bullet if they had the opportunity, you know?
I'll tell you one thing. You were right. I like this story, though.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, I understand for a while that, they do get the lower hand of the stick. They don't get as much treatment because, we hear stories about them in dog fights, and people prefer them in dog fights and use them like that, and people think, oh, they're just so vicious dogs, and it's stories like this that kind of, come up every once in a while, and it's like, you know what? It's not the dog that makes it. It's how we perceive it. And, the dog's really good. It's just how we really treat them.
Yeah. It all comes down to handling in the end. And the sooner people realize that, I think the better off the breed will be.
Yeah. By the way, for a really good dog story movie, you should watch Hachi. It's actually based on a true story. It's a Japanese story of this dog that, he started hanging out with his owner, and then he started meeting his owner at the train station every day after work. But then one day the owner died, and so the dog continued waiting there for the next 9 years, would go there every day and wait for his owner, and he became like a family member to the people that worked at the train station and stuff. And it was like this, it's a really emotional story and makes people tear up easily. Yeah, but it's really cool because after those 9 years, they built a statue to the dog, and it sits at that train station to this day as a symbol to the people there.
Oh, see, all I can think of now is that episode of Futurama.
That's what Futurama is based on.
Yeah.
That episode was based on this dog.
Oh, I like that episode.
Yeah, that
so
one
if
made
you
me
want to
cry.
hear the true story, you could look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I actually have one news story that I want to tell you two that I meant to tell you guys last week, but I completely spaced it at the end.
Okay.
Okay, so remember how we talked about during the first week Disney and how J.J. Abrams still had some ways before he proved himself to be like the greatest director?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He took on 2 projects that if they get successful, he may earn all of our respects easily, because he took on making a Half-Life 2 movie, as well as he took on making a Portal movie in the future.
I heard about this. I forgot about it. I wanted to say something about it too, but oh my goodness! I mean,
Yeah. That's a slippery slope. Game movies have been notorious for bad translation.
The problem is he talked with Gabe Newell. That's how this all came up. They had
Yeah.
a meeting together in a public forum talking about it, and they both were into it, and Gabe Newell would be heavily involved. So it's not like going to be like a lot of other game movies where it ends up being a completely another studio, completely another team, person working on it with no actual connection to the real story, like with the Resident Evil crap.
Right.
because it's always, to what I've known, it's always been a curse. I mean, we tried Mario Brothers, that didn't work so well.
Ow.
We tried Tomb Raider, that didn't work so well. We tried
Ow,
Prince
ow.
of Persia, Ninja Gaiden. Just a lot of pain.
Well, the biggest issue is that they never actually follow the story of the game, and then they go, then the next one comes out and goes, well, all the others failed, so we're not going to follow the story of the game. Like, you're just doing the same exact thing. Like, how does that make any logical sense, you know?
All right. Well, that's about the end of our show for tonight. We're going to play off one last song, courtesy of 8-Bit. What have you got for us?
I've got Metroid Metal's song Brandstar. They are a band that does a bunch of different metal covers of Metroid songs, obviously.
Yep.
And if there ends up being a time, it will also go into a Zelda Skyward Sword Ballad of the Goddess, done by the 2 harp twins I mentioned in the first episode.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's going to be it for us tonight. Hope you all enjoyed the show. If you liked it, be sure to check us out on our Facebook page, facebook.com/NerdHerdShow. Also, be sure to check out 8-Bit's YouTube channel at youtube.com/TheEndOfIt. Check out our show. Check out all of his stuff. And for everyone here at the Nerd Herd, this is the Awkward Agent with 8-Bit Gamer and Lucid Sheets, wishing you all a good evening.